Hi, hello, and welcome on into my channel. Hi, I'm Magic Fun Fun. Yes, this is my face. Not very often I show it on here because it's just easier for me to record and get these videos out here for anyone who likes my pickup piles. It's just easier to do that, and I don't mind it. If you don't mind it, I don't mind it. So, but I thought I would show my face to here today because we're doing a little bit of a different video setup. I don't think I've ever done a video like this before, at least not in video format, I should say. I will be going through my top Oracle and Tarot decks, and I have my notes ready already over here, so if you see me glancing that way, just to make sure I get the order right. It's pretty straightforward, you know, we're gonna go from, I wouldn't even say my least favorite. I just use each of these tarot decks and these oracle decks for different purposes. So some of them I use more than others. And I still have honorable mentions because I still couldn't keep like 5 tarot decks. I have 6, so I figured like the 6th one, technically honorable mention. Oracle, I have my top 5, and that 5. But I have got 6 and 7 as well, so kind of tie for the last place because I still use them. I may not use them often, but they each have their purpose in here. I will find a place that I like this mic, I swear. So this is a very casual video, as you can tell, so grab some water. I think this video, but I'm just starting to record it now, I think it'll be about 30 minutes-ish, we'll see. I'm going to split it into 2 in the same video, where we're going to do tarot first, and then we're going to follow it with the oracle, kind of like how I do my tarot reading. Start with tarot, follow with oracle, see what it has to say. Okay, so if you have any other questions, if you want to see any of these tarot decks in depth, like a video if I don't already have that on this channel, if you have any questions about, you know, choosing maybe a tarot deck, you know, let me know your questions. And this also goes for if you have any suggestions for pickup piles that are not based off like the new moons or full moons that I do. I tend to do those about a week before the new moons and full moons come into play. If you have any requests for a certain question or a pickup pile style themed, you know, maybe about career, about love. I don't tend to put some love out there because I'm not sure if my audience is interested in love readings. And this could be self-love, this could be inner love, this could be self-care, you know, versus self-love. This could be, you know, seeking a partner, a relationship, any of those type of readings. If you're interested, let me know. Things about career, finances, things like that as well. You can let me know if you're interested in readings about that, personal growth, you know, all that sort of stuff. And if you're looking for a list, I should have this listed in the description box of this video, but if you ever want to see a full list of all my tarot and oracle, I keep a list in my Discord. So you'll see the link to Discord. You can join. It's completely free to have a Discord account. You join the community. You react to a little emote, emote in our Discord, and unlocks the rest of it for you. If you're not familiar with Discord, let me know. Maybe I can do a little video or suggest. There's probably a bunch of videos out there already that can explain Discord well better than I could, but I could always show something, even just do like a 1-minute short here and post it into YouTube so you can go quickly find it if you want to make a Discord account and join the community there. Yeah, so I'll get into all that stuff later, you know, again, if you have any questions about that. So let's get started. Let's get into the fun stuff. Again, grab your coffee, tea, and snacks, all that good stuff. And like I have my water already, kind of matching with the pink theme because I can't stop and he won't stop me. Alright, technically the runner-up that did not make on this list, but I think if I took out this one thing that kind of went into my mind of why I made the list the way I did, it would probably rise to the very top, my very favorite deck of all time so far. Now, the reason I didn't include it in there is because I technically haven't had it that long. It's only been like, I don't even know, like a month or 2 months. I don't know. It hasn't been that long since I've had this deck, so I wasn't sure if that should count versus like the other decks that are on here I've had for quite some time, some way longer, some like years, you know, I've had these decks for them. And there's some decks that just don't come out and because they're too old to be a part of this group. That's something I'm going to do a completely separate video on. They didn't come into here because like they're missing, they're busted, they're like ripped and shredded. I just haven't gotten rid of them because sentimental values, because that's just how I am. So they didn't make it on this list. So this is kind of like the decks that have made it through the years and I've grown really attached to. But I'm sure this doesn't come much of a surprise, especially if you see a lot of my like TikToks, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, all that sort of stuff. This deck is one of the best, and it is the Queer Tarot. Oh my gosh, I love this tarot deck. Let me grab this tarot deck. There's the King of Wands right there. Shout out to all Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. As you know, when I read tarot, I have the King of Wands associated with Leo. I am also a Leo. So shout out to all the Leo placements out there. Perhaps this is a sign right now. Maybe if you have Leo in your chart, or like in your top 3, it's a sign maybe to look into this deck. Maybe it's meant for you. So anyway, and as I split it, we get the Sun, who also rules over Leo. We're in Cancer season right now. I don't know what Leo is trying to steal the show. Okay, so anyways, as you can probably tell, the representation in this deck is phenomenal. Knight of Wands, Sagittarius is here. Again, how I associate is Knight of Wands, I related to Sagittarius energy as well. But yeah, so the representation is wonderful. The cards themselves are so nice, like nice to shuffle, and it's kind of surprising because they are, as you can tell, they're very huge. If you have small hands like me, the cards, like, I don't know if I can even hear it on the mic, they're like that material. Sorry if that, I just thought about that. Some people don't like that sound, but that is the sound that makes, is because it's the material of the cards are so, like, it's thick cardstock too. They shuffle so beautifully. It doesn't hurt my hands. I think what ends up hurting my hands more with this deck is when I try to do, which I do frequently, is the over under, like when, you know, just doing this. It just stretches out my hands so much. But the cards just fall out so beautifully. If you like to do like cards that flip out of your deck, this will do it for you. Again, like here we have 4 of Swords, fully illustrated, beautiful, bright colors in this one. Obviously, you find like the rainbow in all of these cards, beautifully placed. I've noticed a pattern, which I'm sure was probably intentional. Oh, here's the Tower. Although scary, quite beautiful to look at. When you have, these are both pages, the rainbows, I'm trying to see. Oh, here we have the Chariot. You'll see like rainbows connect in the background for some of them. I think it's mostly with the court cards, I want to say, like maybe the Knight and the Queens. I've noticed that when I do my readings, like you can see rainbows flowing into one to the other, and they'll be from different suits in the deck. Oh, and also something else I should mention, that a lot of these cards or these decks I'm showing you are all based off of the Rider-Waite-Smith system, the RWS system. So, and I typically do love fully illustrated decks. So I do want to edge this deck too. I haven't yet picked a color. I'm thinking, like, because these are definitely like highlighter colors, I'm thinking of doing it in a pink highlight, or maybe like, you know, doing it in multiples, like in pink and purple. Like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to see. 7 of Cups in this deck right now. 7 of Cups has the most beautiful like fades of purples. Oh, you'll even kind of see it in here with the 3, like that is gorgeous. And it's a 3 of Swords. I know everyone's favorite card, but like gorgeous. Oh, I love the bright colors. I love it so much. Okay, so that's probably enough about that. But yeah, if you're interested, this is the Queer Tarot. Absolutely love it. The only downside I would say is just how large they are to do this. That maybe if you're doing a lot of readings in a day, like it can hurt your hands if you have small hands like me, but you don't have to put a lot of pressure to get them to move. You know, they'll slide in and out of your hands just nicely. Giggity. Anyways, let's stop that. Okay, so technically we're going into like the top 5. Again, I don't really like them being on a list. I think they're all great and they all have their own purposes. It just might depend on who I'm using them for or what I'm using them for, like what type of question I'm using them for. So technically number 5, sorry, goes to the Tattoo Tarot. I'm trying to see, there you go. Tattoo Tarot, the box. Beautiful. Now this is a little biased because this deck happens to be my husband's favorite deck. He loves this one. He loves the Tattoo Tarot. And so whenever I do a reading for him, I always tend to use this one. Sometimes I'll use other ones, but most of the time he always requests to use this one. I did edge this in a gold paint pen. So, and I thought it was worth it. It was probably going to be that or red, but I was like, come on, like it looks antique. So, you know, we had to do gold. This is the only pip deck in my like top ones that I use. It's one of like only the pip decks that I can really connect to. Sometimes there's some pip decks that are just like, I don't know why, like they don't have, they're just not illustrated just enough even as a pip deck that I'm just like, I don't know, it don't really connect to it. And if you're like, what do you mean a pip deck? So a pip deck is when the minor arcana, like this, the Nine of Swords, doesn't have like a person, a scene or anything. It's just swords. And in this one they'll put like a little bit of like a signature of like, you know, when you're thinking about Nine of Swords, it's about a person sitting up in bed, you know, with a lot of anxiety. So it's kind of like, you know, swords crossing through the eye. We have nine of coins. So yeah, we have this right here. You see it's just a bunch of coins, but you can kind of see like the butterflies. There's like a little bit of symbols in this one, in this pip deck. And then the only cards that are illustrated will be the court cards and the major arcana. So here we have the King of Swords, associate with Aquarius energy. So maybe if you go Aquarius placements, maybe this deck is calling to you. Let's see. So yeah, here's an ace. Actually, the Ace of Swords. I'm trying to see if you can see a major arcana. Oh, and the color selection, like, are so, it's beautiful. Like, those blues to those reds. I do absolutely love, like, if in these coin cards, you know, that pop of green is gorgeous. Here is Three of Cups. You know, in Three of Cups, you would see, like, three people, like, cheering up. Usually, it's, like, pictured from, like, the traditional system. Three women, like, cheering their cups, you know? And in this one, it's just going to be cups. So that's what I mean by a pip deck. Here's the Queen of Wands. Beautiful coloring. Here we go. Here's Temperance. Here's Temperance. Let's see. The Hanged Man. And then here we have the High Priestess. Okay, so beautiful colors too. Like, oh my gosh, the color selection is gorgeous for this deck. So yeah, I also tend to use this deck for financial readings. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it says coins in here. Like, this looks like money to me because it looks like, you know, it's coins. It looks like coins versus pentacles. When someone like wants a financial reading, I'll tend to go towards this one because it seems like it always kind of like brings to mind cold hard facts, which is when I brought up the Hierophant, Taurus energy. Yeah, so like I said, really love this one. It's the only pip deck in my top ones. I do have other pip decks. I don't use them very frequently. This is one that I like to use the most. Okay, so I'm just checking my OBS, making sure we're still recording. I think I've tried twice now to record this video, and I want it to be very casual. I just want to show you these cards. I don't want to do a lot of editing, just have it nice and smooth. Okay. Get the top 2 tarot off the way. All right, number 4, we have, let's see, the Star Seeker Tarot. As you can tell by the colors, absolutely love and adore this deck. This is the box. It is a soft, like, matte, like, feel to it. The deck itself also is like that. Look how beautiful that is. Oh my gosh, so gorgeous. Perfect as well. Something also I like to note with these decks here, when it comes to like reversals, especially if you're doing like a pick a card and you don't want people to know what is reversed or not, you don't want that to come into the equation. You want them just to pick a card because they're drawn to that card. It's really nice to see that these decks like that don't have that issue. Like, you wouldn't know what is reversed and what isn't with the backs of these. That's something that's a nice touch that I don't think some people who some artists who illustrate decks, they don't think of that because they only think of it goes upright, which if they're making a deck so that it's only viewed as upright, that's great. Like, usually they come with a guidebook and they'll say that. But even some of these that I do have, you can tell like maybe they weren't meant to be reversals, but I still add the reversals. You don't need to use reversals, mind you. You don't need to use them. I just like to, but some days you just have those moments where you don't. Okay, I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah, modern. Yeah, this one has a modern twist to it. And oh, I should have picked out the card. So, I should have picked out the card that made me like want to get this deck the most. This is with the Knight of Wands. The only complaint I have about this deck is the text that will be down there is a little bit tiny and sometimes hard to read, but that's mostly like on camera. Like it's hard to show on a camera. So when I'm like showing a camera overhead, you can't really see it. But then again, my camera isn't the best either, so I don't really hold that against the cards. I can see it just fine. They have a mini version of this deck, which is a glossy feel, and where this is edged in that dark purple. It's I think it's just silver. I think it's just silver. It's like holographic or something. But it's a mini version. I'm going to get that one day. I'm totally gonna get that one. Here's the guidebook, which I think is really cute. There's that, and there's like a key in the back. Again, it does go through. Oops, well, the key's from. It does go through. It gives you like keywords for, you know, a whole like explanation if it upright, and then just some keywords for if it's reversed, if it comes up reversed. Very standard, really nice book. There is a bonus card in here as well added to the major arcana. Here is the Knight of Swords. Let's see if I can find that super quickly. If I have to edit this, I will. Here's the Emperor, Aries energy. Aries energy. Chariot, perfect to show right now. Since we're in Cancer season, this is a card for Cancer. The Devil card as well was something that was very interesting. It's spooky, and it kind of gets the point across without needing the fully depicted picture of the devil being present here. It kind of took those symbolisms out of this deck, which is why I really appreciate it, because I do know if there's a lot of angels and devils, and like in the Lovers card, which did I just pass by? Oh no, I did pass by the Lovers card. You won't find that in here. You won't find that. You won't find that symbology in here. You'll find more witchiness. Like you'll find was it? Did I just see it right here? Oh, there's the moon. Let's show the moon off. The moon's going to be a very popular card. That's the wheel. Two of Wands. It's like a staff. Which, like I said, I truly appreciate. But the Magician. Now, the Magician is my favorite card in almost any any tarot that I do get. Like, the Magician is what I love. And I'm slowly trying to find it here. If I don't, I always can share a picture on Twitter or Instagram, if Instagram allows me to post it. But when I saw the Magician, I had to have this deck. It has a picture of the mountains in the background, and I connect so deeply to the mountains that I was like, okay, I need this deck. Here's Judgment, by the way. See what I mean? Like there's no zombies, there's no angel overhead in this one. They definitely, like, I think that's really nice. Okay, so, and again, it's really soft to the touch, and even all together, because I didn't find the Magician, so I'll have to do a different picture later, which is fine. Easy to shuffle. They don't flip out that easily as I'm doing it right now. I've actually had to improve my shuffling skills to get cards like that to appear, which is why you'll see at one point that I did end up start splitting the deck versus letting it shuffle, especially when I was doing Twitch readings and you have so many people online. You have to kind of be a little quick if you don't want to be on for too long, if you want to cut your cue. You have to keep all that stuff in mind. But I wanted to go through, do more readings, and I realized it was hurting my hands and a lot of cards weren't coming out if I wanted to use this deck. So I started splitting the deck, and that works too. You know, you work with what you have. Oh, and here's Strength. I feel like Leo has been coming up a lot. It's like we're not in Leo season. Chill. Here we go. Here's the Womb. This is the bonus card. This is the bonus card. And the Womb is, as you can picture, is about, you know, birth and creativity. I thought it was really interesting, and it's really nice to see like an extra card in here. But yes, if I ever get to show, here's where we see a little bit, like I said, they took most of it out, but you do see it in Temperance. Here's a little bit of angel wings, but it could just be in like a message, you know. It doesn't have to be like divine protection or anything, like, unless it depends on the reader, how you would read the card and how you interpret this. The fact that it isn't all over the place is what I truly appreciate. It's very modern in that way. But yeah, really love this tarot deck, and I know a lot of my followers or subscribers and all that sort of stuff, they like to pick this one too because we all really like the purple. We're a big purple and pink fan, if you couldn't tell. So, alright. Let's move on to the next one. I already see how long this video is going, and I thought it'd be done by now. I didn't think I had this much to say about these tarot decks, but apparently I do. And you know what? That's what you do when you love something. And there's a bunch of fuzz that was from this blanket I have right here. There's this blanket. This little backdrop I have was getting into cards. I had to take it out. Okay. Now this one, number 3. So we're in the top 3. So we're close. I might stop this video because I don't want to be super long. And I'll do the Oracle in a separate one. So, my bad. Sorry. Unless you like long videos, but I figured to split it up. These should be at the same time, but like 1 and 2. But we'll see. We'll see how we go. The Modern Witch Tarot deck. I know this is like most people already know about this one. The only complaint about this one maybe is just like the box itself, is because like when you go to pick it up and then it starts sliding out, you're like, oh my gosh, like you have to grab it before it falls. This one is one of the very first, like, inclusive decks that I got. Like it was purposefully made to be inclusive. A lot of the other ones have been either animals, or they were just been, like, different versions of the traditional RWS system. So here we have the back. Again, appreciate that you don't tell about reversals. And then we have the 5 of Swords. Coming out to play right away. Ace of Wands. Like, the artwork is so beautiful, and the only complaint besides the box would just be like, it's not even a complaint, it's just because my hands are small. That's why sometimes I had to start a new collection of cards that were smaller so it could fit my hands, because eventually this would start hurting if I wanted to do flip. Which here we have the Wheel of Fortune coming out to play. So maybe if you have Jupiter to Sagittarius energy, like, you know, well, Jupiter being rules over Sagittarius, so we want to connect this with Sagittarius energy. This could be a deck for you. Although I feel like a lot of the fire cards have been coming out here to play. And then we have the Sun again, ruling over Leo. Yes, the fire cards. Maybe I have a lot of fire signs who watch this video. That could be true. Okay, so yes. I really, like I said, I truly love this one. This is a deck that I use. Oh, here we have Aquarius. We have the star popping up. I use this deck a lot when it's like you want the harsh truth. Whereas the Star Seeker Tarot is actually really good to, like, portray information in a soft tone. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like a soft tone. It's its own language of, like, it tells you what you need to know, but it does it gently. It does it comfortably. Now, this deck can do that, but it also just has this sharp edge to it that it's like, I'm going to tell you nothing but the truth. You may not like me for it, but that's what you need to know. You know, it bears it all. Like, we have the World card. It bears the truth. It's not cutthroat or anything like that. It's just like, it takes you, or it tells you exactly what you need to know and doesn't sugarcoat anything. Whereas the Star Seeker doesn't sugarcoat it necessarily. It's just calming. Like, the artwork is calming. It's not overwhelming versus, you know, the sharp edges. And it could just be like the illustration that makes me feel this way. Like, when you need to know something and you need to know the facts and get to it in that way, that's what I think of about this deck, which is funny because the King of Swords right there, which again I attribute to Aquarius energy. So definitely maybe an Aquarius. This is for you. So I won't go into too much detail about this one. I'm just showing, like, you can see, like, the illustrations in that one. I think a lot of people already have, and you either love it or you hate the Modern Witch one. But this one was like, I don't know. It's one of like, in the beginning of my collection. Like, it was one of the ones that I had the most. Between this one and my number 1 were, like, the top, like, those were the 2 that I used the most. So we'll get to that one. But, yeah, absolutely love it. I don't think I will ever stop using that tarot deck. Okay, so number 2, it's just because it's pretty and I've used it a lot, especially when I'm like I said, tarot decks can have their own language. And so sometimes you want to go back to the basics. You want to go back to what it is that you've known, that you learn, that when you're reading more about what tarot means and you're going through books and you're just like, you're taking a class, they will always go, and you can see, like, I even have the giant versions of the Rider-Waite Smith cards. this one was just a pretty version. And I know a lot of people on Twitch have seen this one. This is just a, what's it called? Holographic version of the traditional tarot deck. That's it. Nothing super fancy other than that. So when I'm feeling like exhausted and I just don't want to, I don't know why I would, but like if I didn't want to use this one because like it's too large in my hands and my hands are sore, or I cut my finger and I don't want to do that, but I still want to use to shuffle cards, this would be one. They're, as you can hear, they're not flimsy, they're very like stiff, and I think they're just mostly bent, like the way that they are, oh sorry, camera's there, is because that's how I shuffle them. I shuffle them like this, and they definitely will fly out of the deck because they're so smooth like that. There, we already had cards just fly out. So, tell you, maybe because I'm a Leo, and oh, well, there we go, we got the 10 of Wands, but Leo coming out to play again with that Strength card. And then the 10 of Wands, 10 of Swords, I mean. And then the 8 of Pentacles. You see, it's just like the traditional stuff. It's just shiny. It's just pretty. I don't use them a lot for videos so much because when I'm holding them like this, we're okay. We're good. So maybe if I did more readings where I'm just holding up a card and explaining things, that could work out. When I have it reversed and you see like from the camera that usually sits here, and if you've seen my other videos before, you would know that a lot of times my lights hit them. So you can't see what the card, it does that, just does like that. But in person, they're very pretty. They're semi-good if you want to take photos with your deck. But they're just something that I always was keeping for the longest time. I was keeping on the table here before I found anything else that's comfortable. I don't really see myself replacing this one. I think it has its place and purpose, just maybe not something that I can see being used with the camera situation and the lighting situation that I currently deal with. I find myself going towards the Dawn of Aquarius tarot deck, although it is very like simple illustrations just like these are. There's a little less details, but it's just like the way it fits in my hand, which this one didn't end up on the list because it is so new. Like this one's super new for me. And because the backing of this one, you can see when it's reversed. You can tell. It's not like if you're shuffling live and you're not really paying attention, you don't really notice. But then again, if you're doing a pick a card, you would notice if all of them are not in the same direction. Yeah, but you see, like, it's really pretty too. So a little bit of an honorable mention. Really beautiful and easy to shuffle for that one. Sorry, this is about this one. But yeah, so when I just like, it's like that mental break. It's hard to explain unless you've done tarot and before and you understand, like sometimes you don't want all these different illustrations, reading things a certain way, or like a pip deck, it's exhausting to your brain. It's just like, let me go back to the basics. That's what this deck is about for me. And it's just because it's a little shiny and pretty, so that's why I've used it quite a lot. Okay. Number 1. This one, you probably already saw a glimpse of it. If you probably, I think a lot of people know about this one too. You probably wouldn't know. I don't think I've used it much or any on like YouTube, or I know I've posted pictures on my Instagram, but this deck is very sentimental to me. It is the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. It's very sentimental because it's one of the first tarot decks that I was gifted to me. Number 1, my husband bought this for me. Number 2, it's just, there's a connection with this deck that I don't have with the other ones, that it's very personal. However, it has its downsides. And when it comes to a reading, not really like the artwork. Well, then again, you might not like the artwork. I think a lot of people either love or hate this style of artwork. Here's the Daughter of Swords, the World card. It could be a little scarce for some people. They like a lot more details in this, like the Ace of Pentacles. I'm trying to find not a court card. Here we go. Like 2 of Cups. This deck, when I do a reading with it, if I'm looking for a sign, like let's say the High Priestess or the Magician card, this deck will provide it for me. It will send me the sign and it will send me the message that I need to know. It's just like it knows me so well. or the messages that their spirit, because it's not really the deck, it's not their tools, right? The messages come from the divine, come from the universe, come from spirit. It's just how we choose to interpret that, what language we're trying to, you know, listen to that from. It's kind of like how I view it. You don't have to use language, it may not be what I mean, but that's the only way I can kind of describe it, right? And that's why I would be sometimes especially before I had the Star Seeker Tarot, this would be kind of like that comfort deck for me. It would show me that. It would show me like the nitty gritty as well. And when I didn't want to be sugar coated, I wanted like the truth, that's when I would grab the Modern Witch. So to me, they're kind of like one meets the other, and like that's why they would pair so greatly. So technically, if I took out the amount of uses I would do for the holographic one, it would be 1 and 2 would go to the Wild Unknown and the Modern Witch Tarot. That's because I've had them like the longest, like kind of like when I got one, I would say like a year later or something like that. I think I don't actually really know. I got like the Modern Witch. But here's the Moon, very beautiful. Here's the Devil. Capricorn energy. The Moon is Pisces energy. But really easy to shuffle. Really, really easy. But like I said, it's not really a pip deck, but so I think you can argue that it could be a pip deck as well. I don't know what it's actually, I don't know what people actually qualified it as. I never really looked at that. You know, here's the Emperor, here's Temperance, here's that Sagittarius energy coming back out. The Emperor, Aries, okay, like the fire signs, they want to be known. What's this, 9 of Wands? This one had to make me learn Roman numerals, okay, I'll tell you this, and I still have issues with Roman numerals. Sometimes I'll catch myself counting it really quick before I'm like, oh no, that is 9. The Star Seeker is really nice because that one actually has numbers on it. They don't go by Roman numerals, which was a nice little added bonus I should have included with that one, but you know, we're doing this on the fly. But yeah, so here we have the Wild Unknown, and it's mostly just because it's like sentimental value. Here's Justice. I also think this one, Justice, and I think Strength are switched. I think they switched the numbers on that one. So that was like a bit of a curve when I realized that they were switched in this one, but not in other ones. But yeah, and I did edge this one in mint green because I said why not. There wasn't really like a color that called out to me. 9 of Swords. There wasn't a color that called out to me that was like, this is meant for that one. So that's why I just kind of like, I loved this color. So I was like, we're just going to do it in this color then. And I figured, why not? It's a personal deck. So most of the time I will only ever use this deck for myself, especially if I'm going through a very hard time. This is the deck that I will go to. That's just like, that's why it's kind of number 1 for me. Because I kind of only use it for me, and that's just how it goes. That's how I made my list. Okay. Okay. But all the other ones I will use for a lot of different readings here on YouTube for people. I constantly have to stop, but I'm getting new decks a little too frequently. We're gonna have to put a pause to that. But yeah, so that's what I have for tarot. I realize we're at about 30 minutes in this video. I don't think I need to edit anything out, but I will have to watch it back and edit it later. I'm going to stop it here, and either I will come back in the same video, like, you know, chapter 1 will be tarot, and then you'll see me come back and be like, hey, what's up? Let's start with Oracle. Or I might just have Oracle in a totally separate video, but they should both be posted relatively close to each other, if not like one day behind, if I feel like I need to space it out. Okay, so that's about it, and sorry, you know, hopefully I'll put just tarot in the title for this one, and I'll stop rambling. So if I have the Oracle up, if I have it, it will be listed in the description box below. I don't know exactly how to make it pop up. Like, people are like, oh, and they'll pop up in the screen. I will attach the other video. I don't know how to do that. Sorry. So, yeah, this is me. This is how I roll. And I will catch you in the next video, which will be posted shortly because I'm going to record right after this one, Oracle cards. Okay, bye. I'm sorry. Bye.